Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Was an Elite Blue Uchiha. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was put through hell and adopted by the Raikage over on Anime King 2. And enjoy that guys. And stay in tune for a new episode coming over Anime King 3, which I do hope that you guys will enjoy. And yeah, remember if you're new to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button guys. And I'll comment down below and tell me. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last part we left off, as Uchiha woke up, her hands were blackened because of her using that technique to send Conan away in that moon that she created. There was a sacrifice, as Naruto knew about it well because, given the state that he was in right now, he knew about that planet where the strange metal object came from, as he knew almost everything in the universe. The girl saw him as she was on the brink of tears, as it was really him. She started to cry, but Naruto came in the room. The girl was obsessed with Naruto. Naruto had to literally throw her through the window to get away from her, as the girl was on the ground laughing like a maniac. Uchiha was pissed off at Naruto though, as she kicked him right in the nuts. She told him that she was gonna do it whenever she feel like, payback for him not letting her know that he was alive. At the same time, Zetsu was doing something with Minato. Something that he was keeping a secret. After all, Minato was somewhere else. No one knew exactly where he was. Meanwhile, Kakashi was running. He was sweating, he was dirty, as he stood at the cliff, looking down toward the spiky, sharp stones. This is where Minato was. When he finished off Naruto, it was right here. As he watched the water crashing down below, Obita had found him. As Kakashi was the best student, he always wanted to be the best. When Obita activated his Sharingan, he saw Minato seeing pride in him, so he killed Obito and took his eyes. Took one because he could only handle one. As Ren, she knew, but she had a crush on Kakashi. Kakashi had told her to keep her mouth shut about it, but the girl was acting out day after day as she was gonna slip up. So he killed her. In truth of it all, Kakashi was a bad guy. He only wanted Minato to be proud of him, but he did very bad things. Obito stabbed Kakashi repeatedly, but Kakashi wasn't going to let Obito take his life as he threw himself off the cliff, dropping to his death. Obito was shaking as he realized the warning that Naruto gave him about reading the package before accepting a deal. As Naruto told him that he should be the one to kill Kakashi, but he did not, as Kakashi threw himself off the cliff. Obito was panicking, he was worrying. Obito couldn't take it anymore as the timer on his hand started to click down. He also threw himself off the cliff as well, as he couldn't take it anymore. Time passed as Itachi, Izumi, and Shizu was heading home. Something was wrong though as they saw everyone giving them a wide berth, leading them straight towards Blue's house. The atmosphere was all wrong. But it wasn't hatred or anger, it was calm and steady. As Itachi knew at the moment that he arrived, he went inside the others, saying that they would stay out here. As Itachi saw him, after all these years, he saw his uncle as he ran up and hugged him tightly. Meanwhile, a meeting was going on. Given the fact that no one knew where Minato was, they had no idea. A council meeting. As Kushina heard knocking and she went to go investigate, it was Uchiha's. as they told Hayashi that he was needed back at the compound, Mikoto as well. Hayashi was outraged that they would come here and interrupt the meeting, but it was a urgent matter, so they did. With that, they made their way back as Mikoto was worrying. Something was wrong. It was then that she saw him playing football with the kids. She tried to back away as she activated her Sharingan, but the Uchihas activate theirs as well, stopping Mikoto from running. As she turned and met his empty gaze. Sup sis, said Naruto. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. Blood traitor, a term used by the Uchihas and other clans. It was a person that gave out information about their own clan members to someone, either out of spite or hatred for that victim, or out of loyalty for the village. But despite that, you should never reveal anything about the Uchiha, because the clan came first. But to give away information about someone in the clan, to hurt them in some way, to betray your own clan, it was a sin, a horrible sin. It was a crime. Different clans had different names for them. Hyugas, they call the blood traitors sightless. Abermis, they call them maggots. Within the clan, if there was a member that caused death with another clan member, if a member raped, molested, the punishments would be severe. They would prolong your suffering as long as possible, so that you will be in immense pain and suffer accordingly. That is why most people always report it to the council, to make the person, whoever he or she is, that caused this heinous act, to repent and suffer. But there was a code. Any internal problem can be solved within the clan, and they should not involve outsiders. The Uchihas, they were private, while the Hyugas branched their wealth and also split their clan into main and branch house. The Uchihas kept to themselves. They only spoke up when it was needed. They were a clan of power and dominance. They respected nothing less. In their eyes and in their founding, they never saw any reason to bring outsiders to solve their internal problems. They can do it themselves. They had it under control. Whatever it was, the clan could resolve it. It should stay within the clan no matter what. Children were raised not to keep their quarrel to themselves, but to smooth out the issues within their clan. It was a symbol of unity, and they all knew that. All of them were grew that way, and they should understand. That is why so much of them feared the term blood traitor, because they knew what it implied. There was a reason their clan, that was filled with so much aggressive, powerful ninjas, were still close after so many years. Exactly the way that Indra Osusuke, the founder, wanted his children to be united. But this was the first time someone so close to the clan head has been accused to be a traitor of the blood. Mikoto. Her first attempt was called into when she tried to flee, as she activated her Sharingan and tried to place a genjutsu over them. When she first saw Blue, when she was trying to flee, but the other Uchihas were ready, as they cancelled it out rather quickly. 2 days, so she could collect her thoughts. She has 2 days before she was put before the council. She was kept under strict house arrest, while the people close to her had time to come to her defense. Her chakra was sealed to a small, tiny speck, and her dojutsu was deactivated. She was given all sights so she could be watched, so she could be kept healthy, because most people end up taking their life, so they wouldn't be branded as a blood traitor because they knew what will happen if they did. But Mikoto had too much pride to end her life. Every morning she was allowed outside for a few minutes for some fresh air, until she had to return to her vacant house, a civilian house outside the clan head reach. The same went for the accuser, who in this case, Blue, her brother. He was placed on the opposite end away from her, provided with comfortable living arrangements and a good environment until the trial started. Within those 2 days, Blue knew what Minato was doing. He was getting stronger, using his half-human soul. Yes, he was getting stronger and stronger. But that didn't really matter him. He really enjoyed the idea of battling someone who wasn't going to take it easy on the start. It wasn't going to be like the fight with Jiraiya or with Nagato. Minato could summon as many clones as he wanted to train and lengthen his time period with his newfound powers after absorbing Blue half soul. Or he could try and master the koi fish summoning contract that he signed to accept this inhuman feat. All the better though. Blue's problem was if the continent got dragged into the fight. And then there was Kaguya Osusuki, the goddess of the Osusuki clan. The memory of Kaguya, Rini Sharingan, was the last thing that his half-soul transmitted to him. It was just a projection of the true I. A simple projection. And she was able to overcome his half-soul. It wasn't like he was afraid of it. But he just wasn't looking forward to face it. But day by day he could feel it. The both of their confrontations were unavoidable. But she was the one that did this. She removed the bindings and allowed Minato to absorb his half-soul. Because without her help, Minato would have been incinerated from the inside out if he had tried to control Blue, his half-soul that is. But she did it. She said that this will make Blue lose all of his connection to the earthly realm. As he wondered, did she have precognition? Just like how Nagato, Outer Path, gave him sight to the end of reality when he saw Blue as that monster. Did she know that Blue was going to limit his fight to the Osusuki dimension with Minato in preparation for a trial to come to damn his sister? And the battle. Blue was on top of the roof, tinkering with crystalline. His hand moved and his mind wandered when two giants fought. The grass suffered. An old acquaintance once told him when the acquaintance speculated on a raging battle between Kushina Uzumaki and Kakazu. And that was proven right. After all, when he faced off against a dying god, the hidden rain structure has changed and it will stay that way forever. But when him and Kaguya meet, the planet will feel it. Everyone will feel it. He didn't even know would there be a planet left afterwards. Time skip, day of the trial, Uzumaki residence, the quiet hum of the song in the background. It was a station in Iron Country, a pop music that was softly spoken though. As Kushina left the guest room, as she zipped up her Jonin vest, she whistled along with the radio as she placed two breads in the toaster before she went in the cabinet as she pulled out the butter knife. She pulled out a jar of peanut butter and a jar of jelly as she put some water in the kettle as she set it on fire. She pulled out a mug. She then reached up to the top cabinet as she pulled out her first batch of tea as she pulled the box. Honey strawberry tea. The kettle whistled as she poured the water in the mug and placed the bag inside of the mug. The toast beep as the toast came up. She pulled them out and placed them down on the plate that she set down there as she spread a large amount of peanut butter on the toast and jelly on another one. If her grandmother Mito saw how much she spread on them, she would have, reprimanded her for being so wasteful. But Kushina couldn't help it because it was so amazing as she put them together and bit down on it. And money wasn't exactly an issue. She then started to think as she ate her toast. It wasn't her first time thinking about this. Sometimes it worried her how she wasn't using her money properly. Something like how Minato spread his money, how he spread his wealth through popular business, or how Eugeo told her that Blue invested forward. Sure, she donated a few million every month directly to this place where people of the Fire Country were finding it really hard to get a footing in ever since the Third Great Shinobi War ended up until now. The donations felt so wonderful when she saw the refugee camps gaining back a little spirit in them. There was also a man from Chill that regularly gave his money to this place. She made up her mind that she was going to make her accountants look into something more adventurous, trustworthy, and earning as well. To multiply her money so she could give more to those that need it. She ran a hand through her hair. She would have to do so much paperwork. She heard a tapping as she turned her head towards the kitchen glass. She saw a crow. A messenger crow? As eagles and birds were used. For those who didn't have a phone or didn't want to use it or didn't know how exactly to send messages by it, crows sending messages were odd, as the blackbirds were said to be the harbinger of death and the Shinigami summons. So she hesitated to let it in her home. She just let it crouch on the windowsill. Wherever you went around on the planet, when someone about to die or someone did die, you would see a few crows here and there. There were also those at that door that managed to pull through, saying that they saw crows once they were so close to the end. But one would wonder, why didn't Shinigami choose vultures as he summoned? As she readied her chocolate chains under her skin just in case. She raised the eyebrow. The bird stuck out his right claw and she noticed there was a note attached to it, tied there by a purple piece of thread. She untied the string as she rolled out the number. Yes, it was a number. A phone number. There was rumors going around about a accursed number. If you call it or it call you, you will be put under a trance and forced to do the person on the other line bidding. Kushina did not know anyone in the village that falls under this genjutsu, and she wasn't inclined to believe. It was probably just some scary story that parents told their kids to not make them call or answer unknown numbers. Not to mention, because of her sensory ability and her large amount of chakra, genjutsu didn't really work on her that much. Not to mention the fox would burn it out of her quickly if any other chakra source entered her system. Sharingan genjutsus were tricky though, but those worked by direct eye contact. She pulled her phone from her pants pocket and took a picture of the crow, just in case. Of what? Who's to really say? She saw the crow tilt his head like he was annoyed by her antics. That was strange. She called the number as it started to ring. She then heard it answer. She waited, expecting to hear a chakra-heavy voice or a hypnotic sound. Hi. Her heart shook in her chest. She slipped down the cabinet as she collapsed on her butt. It was amazing how one word could take her down so easily. As she swallowed thickly. Hey, she said. How's it going? Not gonna lie, it could be better. What's up? Oh, this and that. They're not important right now. I've been waiting for you. You know, said Kushina. I'm sorry, Kushina. I really didn't mean to hold you down, said Naruto. She opened her mouth telling him it was fine, but the next words still hurt her very being. As he had to tell her, turns out, I can't get over you. I've tried and I tried and I tried. The crow turned its head as its gaze went outside the entrance towards the Uzumaki compound. I even hope while I'm at the front during the war, a stray kunai or a wild shuriken would take me out so I could stop thinking about you. But with his Sharingan and his reflexes, he couldn't be taken down that easily. Kushina realized something wet fall on her. She didn't even know that she was crying. You want to hear my lowest point? It wasn't when you married to that guy, or that get together at your place. Yeah, said Kushina. It was when I was 13. Flashback. It was his first few missions without Uchiha. He was assigned to a group with a Aburami, a Hyuga, and Yuzaka, tasked to transport some stolen goods from the hidden stone to Konoha over a massive, deep gort. As usual, he was the youngest of the group, and he was made to walk behind the horse with the carriage. As the bridge that they were on were swaying slightly, the sounds of distant explosions caught his attention. Something wasn't right. This was going too smoothly. He asked Hyuga if he could use his gun to scan the bridge for traps. The Inuyasaka roared at him to return to his place at the back, but the bomb was made without seals or chakra clay, and the explosion went off right as the cart passed over it, and his Sharingan saw it too late. The Hyuga broke his fall by the time his back hit the bottom of the gorge, but he still shuddered in pain. Orochimaru appeared at his side minutes later, part of the team sent to investigate Blue. Crazy SOS. After the line went dead, as she couldn't heal him because of her tainted chakra. He was bloody. He was broken. They rushed him back towards Konoha, and he was placed in the hospital for months, until he left without the doctor's permission as he went back to the front lines. Within that time, Kushina, she was 17. She came back to Konoha, and she stayed at his side the entire time while he was in the hospital. End of flashback. The only thing you talk about was that guy. How great he was, how cool he was, or how handsome he was, Blue said, unable to hide the bitterness of the memory. She knew he still liked her then, until he started to drift away from Konoha, and drift away from them, as Hiruzen was all ready for Blue early discharge, because Blue was a vital weapon in their arsenal. Maybe she just forgot that he was crushing on her, or maybe she had hoped that he'd move on. So he did. Sometime after traveling, he befriended Yujito, hoping that your companionship would help him forget about Kushina. He didn't hope for anything more. It is why he did not make any move to sleep with her. Yujito liking him was not his intention, he just wanted a friend. But she liked him differently. Naga, the holder of Newberry, came closer, made Terumi as well. Shizune, Uncle, and so on. There was a long list of friends. Close friends, sex friends, casual hookups. He also had some really good friends. Iruka Mino was one of Naruto's best friends. Losing him is how Naruto awakened his Mangekyou. Then you start to come around. You told me that you missed me, when I was sure that you were pretty happy with that guy. I wanted to leave you alone, but you tore apart that when you told me you missed me. Still there? He said. Yes, I'm still here, she said. Well, I'm sorry for pouring all of that on you so suddenly, he said. In case he did not get the chance again, if Kaguya left the moon as she was truly is antithesis, then he need to unload all of this at the moment. It must have been hard, she said, as more tears leaked from her eyes. Keeping all of your emotions to yourself. watching me go all around for that years. I didn't even know what I wanted. I was making do, said Naruto. Blue, she says. She wiped her eyes. Can I see you? We can talk better. I can't do this over the phone. The other line buzzed a bit as she heard the door open, a door on his end. As she heard the door close, I'll text you when. No, it's not really the time. I'm sorry. Nah, she says. She wiped her tears. I needed to hear your side of this. Well, I was hoping the first time we talk after all of this would be better. Again, I'm really sorry, Kushna. It's fine, she said, the smile on her face. She laughed awkwardly at him apologizing. It just means that you're letting me back in, and that makes me so happy. We can sort this out later, Blue. Of course, he said. Sorry, I gotta go, he said. Yeah, me too, she said, as she had a meeting with her team. She then warned. Don't avoid me, Naruto, she said. Her calling him by his name spoke, well, for the serious of a threat. You hear me, young man, she said. He laughed. I hear you, ma'am, he said. I promise I won't. Talk to you later, Kushna. Later, Blue. Click. As she slumped forward in the counter, she released a long sigh. The phone buzzed again, confusing her. Was it, as she looked at it, it read Michael. She scoffed. Definitely not the time, Mikoto. Ignore, she pressed. Meanwhile, Fukaku was gritting his teeth hard as he was in his office, as he let decorations sink in. One of the two elder representatives of the clan council remained stoic despite the ferocious killing intent from the clan head. Clan law detailed what to do if the clan head immediate family was accused of being a blood traitor. Elder Milliam, an old woman of average build, was in a red and yellow kimono, a formal one, wool socks and wooden sandals. As she looked down at the clan head, as a life partner of Lady Mikoto, we cannot in good conscience trust you to be impartial during the trial. Under the clan law, we all agree that you can sit in with the council, but your input is non-existent, she said. Elder Roth, a pasty-looking man with a receding hairline, thick eyebrows, wearing a baggy, loose yukata. It was like he came straight from the bathhouses. He tapped his cane on the ground. For the sake of maintaining the trust with our people, we ask that you think first what will happen if one in your position destroy our clan history and reliability. The clan head had ultimate power, much like the Hokage. Fukaku had every right to override the judgment of the council for him to sit at the sidelines, but that would just cause chaos. He also can lead the trail however he wanted. After all, the council only wanted answers. Elder Roth grunted as he snapped Fukaku back to the room. Will you do what is best for your people? The point of the trial was to question both parties and determine whether or not Mikoto revealed harmful information about Blue to the Hokage, an outsider. Judgment will come after. Fukaku rubbed both sides of his temple as he closed his eyes. He didn't always get along with Mikoto, and always they were at each other's throats, but he still loved her. Sure, they could have done better with Itachi, and Sasuke was leaning towards Itachi. One would think that Itachi was Sasuke's father. Yes, the both of them left both boys to their own devices, thinking that it would toughen them up for the world. But it caused a rift between the family. But there is a reason why he married Mikoto, other than his father presenting him with her. She represented the Uchiha strength in his eyes. Uchiha strength. He loved his clan. He loved the Uchiha way. The confidence of his people gave him power. He could be the strongest in the clan, and they will follow along his duty. As he took a breath, I will lead this trial. He held up his hand, stopping them from saying anything else. That is final. Time skip. Mikoto stepped up to the dock as the accused, not visible, restrained, but unable to use any usable chakra. Her dull black eyes turned towards the man that walked in, over to the other side, a few feet away from her, but too far out of her reach. He faced her with his shades. Where are my sons, Naruto? She asked. Itachi, Sasuke. Where are my boys? She said. Naruto tilted his head to the side. When have you ever worried about them, sis? Now, Naruto, she whispered tiredly. I'm worried about them now, she said. The room got filled as members after members came in. Anyone from Chunin rank, and Jonins and civilians from 16 upwards could watch, as they want to see how everything would unfold. The clan council made their way as they took their places, as in the center of the panel, Fukaku sat down. As he flicked his gaze towards his wife and his brother-in-law, Mikoto's spirit lifted. Blue smirked. Instead of being worried, he simply smirked. And the trial began. Blue formally accused Mikoto of revealing the fact that he was having therapy sessions with Inoichi Yamanaka to battle the after effects of the Third Great Shinobi War that led to him being branded as a class threat that was to be put on their civilians. This was harmful knowledge because when his sister told the Hokage, it got spread that he was a threat. Some of the people had celebrate when they found out the Hokage killed him because he was trying to act against Konoha. For him, a person who lived and bled for his village, to be tossed around like that, his name, his good name, it was just disrespectful. Mikoto's defense was that it was to protect her family because she did not think someone that was mentally unstable was to be anywhere around children. Elder Milliam asks Mikoto why did she left her son with Blue? He lived a few yards away from Blue on the same street. Why did she leave her son with an unstable man when she and Fukaku went to their wedding anniversary, taking Sasuke along with them when they had more than enough friends that could satisfy as sitters daily? He brought the boy to school and picked him up later on in the day. Sometime, Blue and Itachi came over her house for tea. As Blue and her spoke, as Itachi wandered around her house. Matter of fact, Shisui and Izumi parents trusted Blue to leave their kids with him as well. The elder did never see Blue act or behave in any way to be a danger to anyone in their clan, especially loving kids that he seemed to cherish so much. As she asks Mikoto, how was she so sure that Blue would turn his weapons against the kids if he was so unstable? Mikoto could not answer because she didn't have one. Blue then made a special request for both of them to be hypnotized. He honestly wanted to know why did she expose his therapy sessions. Deep down, he knew why. Mikoto was always hated him when her battering him in his childhood did not work, and he kept on rising through the ninja ranks. She wanted to see him ruined. Blue lowered his defenses as the audio genjutsu was administered on him and his sister. The question then came, and the truth then flew. And Naruto was right. Time skip. Outside, a smile played on Blue's lips as Fukaku presented him with Mikoto eyes before the assembly of clan elders and the other clanmates outside the trial room. The Blue Uchiha couldn't see, but he could sense the burning hatred within the man. Not too long later, Fukaku guards would find his dead body in his office, sitting upright on his chair, his throat cut clean through, gripping a suicide letter in his left hand and the kunai in his right hand that he used to cut his throat. Unseen crows were flying around Fukaku that only Blue could see, as it meant that Fukaku had resolved to kill himself. As Naruto collected the chest with both hands, with Mikoto's eyes inside. Thanks, he said. With that, Fukaku left. Then Mikoto was brought out of the building. The clan was on either side of the road. As they clear a clear path for her, they spat on the floor with morbid disdain as they turned their backs, encouraging their younger ones to do the same. Blue specially asked for there not to be a throwing of stones or rotten fruit, or for her to even be stripped naked. Instead, he requested her eyes and some other things. Mikoto here was roughly shaven bald, some patch here and there. Her eyebrow was shaved off as well, and she was forced into a black cloth. It was like a black bag with heavy chains over her chocolate body. A brand was on her forehead that read Blood Traitor. The dark, empty eye sockets turned towards her brother as she knew that he was there. Are you satisfied, little brother? Like you couldn't even imagine, he said. The absolute silence of the compound made their words really loud, as she knew that he was there. She knew that they were all there. She hated her brother because he was different. She wanted to be the one that was better than him. That is why she picked on him. That is why she beat the absolute crap out of him when he was younger to try to break his spirit, but it never worked. The woman frowned, lips quivering, as Blue sealed away the box into his glove. Not gonna kill yourself, sis, he whispered in her ear. Because unlike her husband, he did not see the crows flying around her. Not gonna bite your tongue and bleed to death. Save yourself the humiliation. No, little brother, she said, as she was unable to cry. I'm not going to die. You think so, huh? If only Dad were here to see us now, he said. That broke her. Yes, that broke her. The agony. As she wanted to weep, but she could not. As Blue grinned, as he saw crows hovering over his sister the next moment, a Chunin holding one of the chains led her out of the clan compound. Little by little, she was led. The Chunin let her walk into the darkness of the forest itself. Without any eyes, she was blind. As everyone went back home, Mikoto was out there alone, in the darkness, in the cold. Time skip. Blue stared at his reflection as his eyes reflected back on him. Mikoto's eyes rippled from the inn before it started to turn blue. Yes, his eyes were turning back to normal as they twist and turn into a 3-totem Sharingan. He then pushed it further as the dojutsu evolved. The 3-totem mixed together and the white of his eyes turned black. His iris glistened like a stained glass, white and black, and shaped into a 3-pronged shuriken with a white dot in the middle. Then it shattered. The mirror in front of him rattled. The air hummed around him. The bathroom tiles hummed as the light flickered on and off. As he pushed it further, the broken pieces of Sharingan came back together, creeping back into his eyes as they twirled, mixing into something new. It reformed the 3-pronged shuriken, but this one was entirely dark blue. Another triangle shuriken came over the first one as it was settled upside down. A white dot was in the center as both eyes turned, one turning clockwise, the other anti-clockwise. The mirror cracked, unable to reflect the eyes of the Master of Crows. His eternal Mangita Sharingan, all of the Sharingan jutsu that impair his vision, laid out in front of him. Inferno, projection, reflection. Not only those though, the Tsukuyomi, the Amaterasu, the Kamui, and the Susanoo. As Naruto saw himself how his crows saw him, how the death or the dying saw him, darkness, with the eyes of his Mangita Sharingan, as he was bathed in utter darkness, toothed, sharp teeth, holding from one face to the other. His hair was entirely blonde, standing the way it did. The last thing that was on his head was a crown that was covered in hellfire, as he had 6 eyes coming down his face. He blinked as a whole 10-second passed before the person finally knocked. Uncle Blue, as Naruto turned towards a small child as he was holding his teddy bear. What's wrong, Sasuke? Itachi, still sleeping? As Naruto nodded, Itachi, was Sasuke idle? He barely played with anyone else. He always followed Itachi around. You hungry? As the boy nodded happily. I'll get Shisui to make you some pancakes. Chocolate chips, said Sasuke, as Naruto picked him up with one arm as he made his way to the other room, where Izumi and Shisui was watching cartoon. Itachi was sleeping in Shisui's room. Any attempt of the clone trying to move would wake Itachi up. He couldn't sneak off at all. Shisui's father was in the backyard, looking over a broken lawnmower, as the speedster mother was running a few errands in the village. Shisui blew call, diverting both child attention from the TV. I need you to make Sasuke pancakes. Izumi perked up. Me too. But uncle, I'm busy, Shisui said. You can watch cartoons any other time. I need you to help me out, kid. There's somewhere I need to go and it's kind of important. As he placed Sasuke down and nudged him into the living room. Can't you tell Izumi to do it? She doesn't even like cartoons. Yeah, I can do that. But right now I'm telling you to do it, as he looked towards the kitchen. Go, he said. Nah, Shisui groaned as he made his way towards the kitchen. Chocolate chips, said Blue, as he groaned once again. Blue ignored Shisui hissy fit. He has been babysitting the 3 Uchiha kids since they were babies. Sasuke too, for that matter. But it wasn't changing their diapers or watching TV with them until they fall asleep made them his god kids. It was when that he reprimanded them for painting the wall with their poo, tackling Izumi away from strangers as she had tried to go up to them with their stubby legs, catching Sasuke from falling down on their swing, showing Shisui that thick eyelashes were something to be proud of, and retrieving Itachi from outside of the village when he first ran away from his parents, and he told the boy that he could come over anytime when he needed escape. They all had parents, but Blue was a special guardian to all of them, as he could handle them on his own, as Izumi changed the channel to a popular sand rom-com. As Sasuke was playing with his teddy bear, I'll be heading out for a bit. As the girl nodded, as Sasuke waved, a vortex of air came out of Blue's left eye, as he was sucked inside and he was gone. As he expected from the Osusuke dimension, his Kamui dropped him off on a broken pillar as he gazed down towards a temple that had its roof tore off a long time ago, as the place was covered with colorful nature and plants. In unison, the pale-skinned Osusukes turned their head up towards him, their Byakugan gleaming under the sunless, moonless sky. Blue expression hardened. His face was darkened down to his nose His blonde black hair casting down his face. As he observed them with his hands on knees, he just looked at them as they watched him. One of them, a rather large man with a single horn going around his head, created that red axe in his hand. Kinshiki, another one said, as he was seated on a pillar with a veil over his head. Don't. There was a Osusuki with a fishing rod on his lap. Why not? He spoke up. You want to find out? Said Blue. The one with the fishing rod stood up. As he was halfway, Naruto spoke. Think properly before you get up. The pillar beneath him quaked under his inferno chakra. I don't need these eyes to sit you back down, kid. There were quite a few things Blue could do without his eyes. Mikoto eyes was the only thing that he needed to get to the Osusuki dimension. A pasty woman in a pink jumpsuit, standing close to the Osusuki, looked up towards him intently. Where is Minato? Said Blue, as they felt it. The woman pointed behind her, towards a fallen temple. The one called Kinshiki dispelled his weapons and uncrossed his arms. As the one with the veil spoke, we will not interfere, Uchiha. We're not obligated to fight for the one that signed the Koi Fish Summon contract. But if our goddess calls for us, we will answer. He looked towards the four of them gathering there, as he knew there were more, here and there, everywhere. As Naruto saw them gathering up, all of us, said Momoshiki. Could the underworld take the full might of the Osusuki clan? Naruto's answer was short and simple. Fine by me. His body dematerialized and reappeared on solid, black concrete. It was obsidian. As Blue was looking forward, Minato was about 20 feet away from him. His face calm. There were white scales underneath his arms that reached his shin. His hair looked like feather, and it was also dark. How Blue would look if he pushed into his anger, but his would be golden. Sharp teeth in his mouth, a lot of them. He was wearing a long sleeve white shirt that was torn off at the elbow. As the scales were there, his Heiori was over to the side, torn up. His shinobi pants were intact, and his sandals were worn out. I can't believe you kept all this power bottled up. Why were you so focused on long distance attacks? Said Minato as he rolled his shoulders. It felt less personal. It's easier to shoot down a master samurai in the comfort of his own home, having dinner with his family miles away from my position, than to cut open a Jonin commander's throat in close combat. Both scenarios happened during the war. As the blood on Naruto's hands, they could flood a country. His memory, his mind was perfectly aware of all those that he killed, but they were a blur in the back of his mind. But that short moment when Minato had killed him, his punishment was a kneel in a field of white and red roses. He was surrounded by all of them that he killed in active duty, all of them surrounding him, and he was unable to say anything. Blue narrowed his eyes. Tell me, how do you see this ending? Naruto was really curious, because Naruto could not be killed, and the Fuin Jutsu needed to seal them away was the same that was required to seal Kaguya in the moon. She was the only one that can bring him to a state that mirrored death, and vice versa. He could do the same. But Blue saw it well how it was going to end for Minato. I know how this ends. Minato chuckled. No spoilers, okay? As Naruto's eyes looked down towards his feet, at the close, flourishing seal. Alright man, no spoilers. Minato exploded in flames as he vanished in a yellow flash. 3-pronged kunai ripped into Naruto's chest, puncturing his heart. About to celebrate his victory at the end of the fight, 2 more Narutos appeared beside Minato. They spoke at the same time, as their eyes spiral. Rejection. Hydra effect. Minato's senses could not tell which one of them was the real one. His advanced senses could not, as the one that he stabbed disappeared like air. Minato flashed through hand signs. Wind release. Extended wind spear. He pushed his hands out to the side as wind spears shot from his fingers, tearing right through the skulls of the copies of Blue. Like before, more of them took their place. Wind release, said Minato. Undetectable guillotine. Wind sliced off their heads and they multiplied into more as 8 of them watched. Minato curiously. Minato repeated the jutsu, irritated. 8 turned to 16 again. 16 turned to 32 again. 32 turned to 64 again. 64 turned to 128. Minato was panting a bit as he looked at all of them, his chest huffing. The flames are only getting hotter as he narrowed his eyes. What now, Minato? All of them said. Just another damn Uchiha trick, said Minato, as he flexed his fingers. He smirked and turned towards all of them. Narni's eyes he spoke. You are only delaying the inevitable. Inevitable. All of them said at once. I was looking forward towards this. Confronting the man that lust after his inventions. Turned his friends against him, killed him, claimed half of his soul, and threatened his closest friends when Minato realized that he wasn't dead. He should have been glad to watch a futility of Minato attacks, but it was sad, really sad. Before, Blue was eager to test his power against the amplified Minato Namikaze. 5 minutes ago, Minato was gonna have his neck wringed by Blue. And Blue was gonna hung-tie him over his shoulder, and then cook him over hellfire, suffering forever. Well, Naruto still intended to do so. Minato exploded with flames. 128 blurs, and they were gone. They turned into 256. This wasn't even Minato's strength. What did the man actually accomplish in his lifetime? The Hiraishin was created by the second. The Rasengan was theorized by the third. The Toad summoning contract came from the Toad land, and his level 10 master of Fuinjutsu did not show much time. Even after claiming half of Blue's soul and ransacking his home, Minato still could not find out what made Blue blue. Minato never saw his faults, that is the reason. And his large flock of friends did not see his faults either. So he thought he was the best at every single thing that he did. How mistaken he was. Blue did not claim to be perfection, nor was he entirely innocent either, because he could snap someone's neck in a second and the next moment play with his nephew. He could have gotten his lack of care from his mother. Who knows? But Minato, it was just sad. The one that gave you the koi fish summon. All of the projections said, where is he? Bored of me already, said Minato. Don't worry, Naruto, this won't take long. Do you have a plan? You know you can't call for the Shinigami. I demoted him. Let's say it's a 1-1. All of them burst. And the real Blue stood there. And I don't leave this farm. What are you gonna do? As Naruto's eyes digress into the three totem, he wanted Minato to surprise him, or he hoped so. But Blue needed to finish his fight quickly because he didn't know where the thing was that gave Minato the contract, and that was worrying. As Naruto flicked his kunai came, along with a shuriken as he threw the shuriken instead. As the thing was moving at incredible speed, splitting air molecules if you could see. Minato wondered, should he take it head on? Wonder how far his tough skin could take him. But the weapon started to get red with hell flames. So he pulled out a kunai as he stabbed it in the hole of the shuriken. Minato had to slam his foot in the ground, but he was being dragged. He poured out his chakra trying to stop it. As the man was gritting his teeth in frustration as he was not able to slow, boom, a fist smashed into his jaw. He was thrown. As he turned and threw his 3-point kunai straight towards Naruto. Blue tilted his head as he pulled the ninja wire that was attached to the shuriken that he threw and twist as it nicked Minato's shoulder. Blue blinked as Minato appeared to his side as he blocked a roundhouse kick that was aimed towards his temple with his forearms. Minato grabbed his shoulder and brought his knee up, but Blue blocked the thundering kick aimed towards his chest. As Naruto slapped down the knee and broke the hold on him as he twisted and launched out a kick. Minato launched out a kick as well as a sonic boom went off when their legs connected. They released as they released another kick, another boom. Twisting under Minato's guard, Blue appeared behind him and drummed his hand down towards his neck. But Minato twisted as he blocked Naruto in the fist. Minato then leaped as he brought his heel down. Naruto moved as he smashed it into the earth. He lashed out with a brutal kick that twisted the air. He moved, strengthening his fist by wind chakra as he came down, swifting powerful punches and kicks. Blue then ducked all of a sudden. Several harsh punches slammed into Minato's guts. His eyes went wide as he was picked off his feet. The impact was so hard, thunder exploded on the other side of the dimension. Minato leaped away as clones dropped down on Naruto. Naruto twisted and grabbed the first one head before smashing it into the earth, dispelling it. A brutal roundhouse kick that cracked the other clone jaw. A punch right to the sternum that dispelled the other clone. A lashed out grab of the clone face that squashed it under his palm. He dispelled clone after clones. Blue blasted forward as he barreled into 3 clones, dispelling all 3 of them at once. As he pulled out a kunai and threw it, deflecting a Hiraishin kunai that came towards him. As a feet appeared next to his head the next second, bam! He was knocked back. As Minato formed a Rasengan to smash it into Naruto's gut, Naruto slapped Minato's arm down, as he shoved the Rasengan into his own stomach. But Minato switched the clone at the right time, as Naruto smashed his skull into the clone's forehead, dispelling it. 3 Harashin's kunais came towards Naruto, as Blue knocked each of them away with 3 shurikens. As he went through hand sign, forbidden art, water release, send to the river, as Naruto's cheeks bulge. Minato launched himself away as Naruto released unholy hell from his mouth, as red tyrant of wrath started to rage everywhere. The red streaming water trapped Minato as he ran all around the training field. Water that burned hotter than lava melt the ground. It disintegrated after 30 seconds, but still, it scorched where it landed. As he stopped the water, Minato stood there. Before shooting forward, he was not gonna lose. He was finally gonna prove it to himself and everyone. He was gonna take down the Blue Uchiha. His speed was blasting. His body rippled through the air, the flames igniting even further. His eyes flashed as he tumbled towards Naruto at deadly speeds. I'm gonna kill you, he said. But guys, to be in episode right here, if you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell and adopted by the Raikage over on Anime King 2. And enjoy that guys. And stay tuned for a new episode coming over on Making 3, which I really hope that you guys enjoy. And if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly, I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click those red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.